I'm Mart, and you are watching Mart's Movies Review here on Lear Media. Today I'm going to talk about the movie Top Gun Maverick, which I saw in the IMAX during the week. Of course, it stars Tom Cruise as Pete Maverick Mitchell. And it's a nice touch at the beginning of the film to begin with. It has Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer production. There's a text intro about Top Gun. It's kind of from the original film as well, but Top Gun being set up as a Navy flight school in the 1960s. We get into the film then. We have the aircraft carrier. We see fighter planes, F-18s, on the aircraft carrier taking off and landing. We hear sounds of Danger Zone, the song from the original film Top Gun, playing. We see then one of the hangars, Tom Cruise in the hangar fixing one of the earlier models of planes from the 1940s. He's just working on the plane, and then he puts on his jacket from Top Gun and he puts his shades on. He kind of takes the cover off a motorcycle, and it's the motorcycle from the original. And he goes off to a hangar. He's still a test pilot. He's a captain. He just stayed as a test pilot, I think after Goose's death from the original film. He just felt guilty about it. It's just survivor's guilt. And he's been told that the Mach 9 program, the test pilot program, is kind of coming to an end. Ed Harris, who's Admiral in the film, Chester Hammer Kane, he wants to shut down the operations, and they won't go on to the next level, Mach 10. So he gets him board anyway. Before he's kind of a rebel anyway, and Cruise gets on board one of the fighter jets and tries to go for the speed record, the Mach 10, before Ed Harris arrives. Of course, Harris is kind of crafty and clever to these kind of tricks, so he arrives early anyway, and just as Cruise taken off above his head. Anyway, he goes for the Mach 10 anyway on the speed dial, and it's very suspenseful and thrilling in the sky watching it happen. And he gets the Mach 10 anyway, but nevertheless he's grounded. He's on the ground talking to Ed Harris, and he's been sent off to a new mission. He's going back to the Top Gun Academy, and he's been asked to train some pilots. And he's just a test pilot. He doesn't want to be training anyone. That's not what he's about. And Ed Harris is saying to him as he goes out, "We don't need test pilots anymore. We have drones." And he says, "Well, you don't need them. We're still needed. We're not gone away yet." So there's a mission on. Val Kilmer is kind of commanding the Top Gun Academy now, Iceman. But you don't see him first. We see John Hamm's character, kind of nickname is Cyclone. He's been told about the mission to blow up a uranium plant, and he has to fly low, fast below the radar, and bomb and get out. He's going to have to lead a team, like six people in the team and 6 reserves. There's going to be 12 training on the test program. So we see some dogfight training then, and they're having kind of challenging each other. Then there's a challenge on with Cruise. Cruise will be following them in the skies. They do kind of simulations of the training exercises for the mission. And basically they're saying to Cruise, if Cruise gets them, they'll all do 200 push-ups. And like John, for the first movie, you have this kind of like need for speed. You know what I mean? Got a need for speed. And kind of just one of the little sayings. This one's slogans is turn and burn. So in the cast of Top Gun Maverick, anyway, is Tom Cruise as Maverick. We have Miles Teller, who's the drummer in Whiplash. Jane Rooster, who's the son of Goose from the original movie. You have Jennifer Connelly as Penny. Glenn Powell as Hangman. John Hamm as Cyclone. Ed Harris as Chester Hammer Kane, and Val Kilmer as Iceman. And the film is written by Christopher McQuarrie, the usual suspects, and has been directing a lot of the Mission Impossible films for Tom Cruise and Jack Reacher. Like, he directed them in Jack Reacher, Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, Fallout, Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Part 2. And yeah, he's the writer producer on Valkyrie as well. And one of my favourite films of the last 20 years. If you're into movies the last 20 years, like, one of the best films, I think it's one of the best films ever made. Not just a classic sci-fi action, but just any film, called Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. It's just an excellent film. It's just a fantastic film. So we have the director of the film as well, Joseph Kosinski, who directed Cruise in Oblivion. And he came on the scene a while back making Tron Legacy. The director also worked with Miles Teller and Jennifer Connelly in Only the Brave. I like the tagline of Only the Brave. It's not what stands in front of you, it's who stands beside you. Yeah, as I say, early on we have Tom Cruise with all these badge decorated bomber jacket, and he unwraps the motorcycle. And it's cool to watch him, like, on the cycle. Of course, he's beaming smile, and he's driving alongside an F-18. Yeah, in the 1980s, 1990s, I mean, Roger Ebert had kind of a formula. He wrote a formula about Tom Cruise. He liked a lot of Tom Cruise's movies, and if you watch Ebert and Siskel, he really rates him as an actor. But he had an idea about Cruise that there was different people in his life, a kind of kind of father figure and a superior woman, and there's all these kind of little kind of formulas to his film. But Aaron Sorkin, who wrote A Few Good Men, with Tom Cruise as Daniel Kaffee, like, said about him in terms of A Few Good Men and kind of Top Gun. He said, in Top Gun, Cruise plays Mitchell, who's a hotshot underachiever who makes mistakes. Maverick Mitchell needs to rein in his discipline. Daniel Kaffee needs to let it go, finally, to see what he can do. Yeah, in the film as well, like in the earlier movie, that Top Gun, you have kind of the rivalry between Iceman and Maverick. In this movie, you got the rivalry between Hangman versus Rooster. And there's nice little scene between Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise in the film. It's I won't spoil it. It's just, there's different ways they do the scene, how they work the scene, and it's well brought out in the film. And see, what we have then is we have Cyclone, who's John Hamm, kind of wants to shut down all these simulations because he thinks they're not. He has his own idea of doing it. I mean, he doesn't believe in flying low under the radar and all of that. He thinks, there's different ways you can do it, get in, get out, and just, and he doesn't believe that the timing, that it has to be done in 2.5 minutes. He doesn't believe it's possible. So he wants to stand down Tom Cruise as the kind of leader of the team, of the mission. And we see Cruise then, he just takes off in one of the fighter jets and does a simulation as Cyclone and the rest of the trainees are watching. And he sees they can do it under 2.5 minutes. So then Cyclone's convinced, and he makes Tom Cruise the strike leader. Then Tom Cruise, he picks his mission pilots, Phoenix, Bob, Rooster, Payback, Fanboy himself. He has the 6 reserves as well. And they launch the team. The team launches off the aircraft carrier, and they fire Tomahawk cruise missiles as well, which is amazing to see. I mean, the flight scenes, the simulation, the training action scenes are amazing to watch. Like, they're unpredictable, and there's especially Tom Cruise's character, and what they're off to do is to destroy the airbase near the plant. And they have success, but they have to be very careful because there's surface-to-air missiles, enemy fighter jets, and Rooster gets caught in the sky anyway. They go around, they complete their mission, but they're trying to get out, and Rooster's out of ammo, and Cruise kind of goes in front of him and gets shot down. And Rooster thinks he's gone, but Rooster goes back from anyway, and he sees that Cruise escaped. He's on the ground after parachuting out of his fighter jet, and then we see an enemy gunship coming towards him. It looks like it's over for Cruise, and then Rooster blasts it. The two of them end up anyway getting caught, and they end up on the ground after parachuting out himself. Cruise goes after Rooster's parachute, and then there's an enemy strip that they bombed. The enemy kind of strip, takeoff zone, the airstrip, and they're just looking with binoculars, looking to see if there's any vehicle, any kind of flight, any kind of jet they could get off with, take off with. And they see an F-14 Tomcat. It's kind of very old school, kind of Su-57, and they get it up and running and went in the air. But there's two kind of similar F-14s in the air as well, and it's very kind of tension. There's a lot of tension, suspense. When Cruise is talking to Rooster, just stay calm, like they think they're one of ours, and the planes are kind of positioned themselves around the aircraft. They don't really know what's happening, neither do we, kind of. Anyway, they kind of make maneuvers anyway, and they're getting shot at, and they're running out of kind of ammunition. And it looks like they've got rid of the two guys anyway, chasing them, and there's one guy after them, then one new kind of enemy aircraft, jet fighter, and it looks like they're going to get shot, and then the enemy fighter jet gets blasted, and it's Hangman who saves them. He's a bit of rebellious like ice, so he's up there and he saves them anyway, and kind of he's cheeky chappy anyway. Kind of said, "Yeah, I know, guys. Don't need to thank me," or something like that. Then you see Maverick and Rooster kind of celebrating along with the rest of the crew on the aircraft carrier. You see them then a time later. You see them, Maverick and Rooster kind of working on, I think, a P-51 Mustang at the hangar, and you see Penny, who was Jennifer Connelly's character. We see bits of her in the film, like just kind of a love interest for Cruise. She drives up in a Porsche and with her daughter Amelia, and you just see the two of them then, Cruise and Jennifer Connelly, taking off on the kind of P-51 with the 1940s aircraft P-51. You see the flight take off into the sunset. Maverick and Penny, Mav and Penn. We see when Cruise comes back, he goes to the bar, and he sees Jennifer Connelly's character, and there's a little kind of a musical number comes on the airwaves, comes on the radio, a musical number, and it's kind of it's put there. It's a talking point. People have mentioned it now when you watch or listen to the reviews. Some people mention it, some people don't, but it's amusing when you get it. Some people wouldn't go over people's heads, but when you watch the film and you watch Jennifer Connelly in the scene, you get it. Non-cliched scenes in the film as well, like Connelly is her own woman and she does her own thing. She's in charge of the bar, and she has her daughter, and she just wants to go out in the water as well. Like, she's in charge of the boat as well, and she's having to show Cruise how to put up the sail and like how to work a boat as well out in the water with the wheel and everything. I recommend the movie Top Gun Maverick to go and see. I'd go and watch it in IMAX if you can. It's a great experience, and the visuals, the screen is longer, wider, and the visuals are great to see, especially the aircraft scenes. And when the aircraft scenes really kind of hit home is when you feel it in your gut. Is when the planes go up at very up high, like they go up high and you go straight up, and you see kind of the person in the cockpit just looking at you, like they're going straight up in the air. Like, it's really kind of wild. Just the maneuvers in the planes as well, like especially going around on the simulation training courses and then the real flight mission. So thanks for watching this review of Top Gun Maverick here at Lear Media. You can like this review and click the red button on the right hand side of this video, and you can watch more of their videos up on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and the rest of the social media outlets. Talk to you next time.